that is a very dangerous position to put yourself in. And that's exactly what I did with my business. Welcome to Beyond Her Hustle, the podcast where we empower ambitious women to redefine success, find healing, and create a life of abundance beyond the hustle. Join me as we explore topics like financial literacy, healing, well-being, relationships, personal and career development, and holistic success. Get ready to break free from the hustle and step into a world of limitless possibilities. I am your host, Nicole. Let's embark on this transformative journey together. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Her Hustle. I am your host, Nicole, and man, I am excited for today's episode actually for a very odd reason, but today I want to dive into some of the major mistakes that I made in my business over the last several years. And these are going to be mistakes that so many entrepreneurs are making right now. And a lot of people don't even realize they are doing these things. And I saw a post on Facebook. It's from Natalie Bullen, which she is awesome. She is, I believe, a sales coach, helps with pricing and messaging and just amazing content she puts out. The post says this: why do you think so many successful 6 and 7 figure 5+ year businesses in the online space are abruptly shutting down? So when I saw that status, I immediately ran to the comment section because there are so many entrepreneurs who are throwing in the towel right now, quitting their businesses completely, getting full-time jobs and just leaving the space, right? And this show is all about going beyond the hustle culture. And with me, I'm not quitting my business, but I am transitioning and shifting the way that I look at business and operate my business, creating different offers to where I'm actually building a real business infrastructure now, not just building a hustle, right? I am actually working with Kosh Cash now as their CMO, right? Their chief marketing officer. So technically I'm in tech with a 9-to-5. That just happened recently. And I was someone who was very against working for other people. I thought, you can't work for other people and be a boss. You can't work for other people and be successful in your business. But when I got presented with this opportunity, I absolutely had to take it. And it was really perfect timing because it's giving me a way to really work on my own career development, because I don't have a lot of experience working with another company other than our own company. So, I only had a few years working in corporate America before I quit in 2018 when I was 20 years old. So having this opportunity to be able to work with a team of a tech company has been amazing. Obviously, I'm still operating my business as a full-time entrepreneur. And so I've seen so many other online entrepreneurs leaving whatever industry that they're in because of so many different reasons. And I ran to the comments of this post. One comment really stuck out to me, and so I'm going to dive into it. And so shout out to Tanya Rivera Falcone on Facebook. She laid it out. She gave 10 reasons why she sees that most businesses are shutting down. And one thing that I can say is that a lot of these reasons apply to me and how I was running my business. A lot of these mistakes played a role in me feeling so burnt out and me realizing that, this is not how you should operate a 7-figure company, because that is what has led into feeding into that hustle culture when you're not actually creating a real business structure. And so I want to dive into the reasons that she gave, because so many of these relate to me. And I'm sure if you're listening to this and you do have a business, some of these might resonate with you as well. So the first one that she mentioned is too much time talking to the wrong audience. Man, we can really just stop the podcast right there. Talking to the wrong audience is one of the most expensive mistakes that you could ever make. And it's crazy because you won't typically realize it until it's too late, right? Until you've spent a ton of time making content, engaging with people, being online on social media, and you realize that either what you have is not selling, or it is selling, but the customer is a pain in the butt, right? It's just not the type of customer that you want to work with. And this is something that I struggled with heavily. Oh my gosh. So with my Sierra Nicole brand, I've been pretty known for a lot of the courses, classes, the master classes that I've put on, a lot of just low ticket, digital products. But I also, for the last 2 years or so, have been doing some actually done for you services. Now, with these done for you services, which is actually something that I've stopped doing, by the way, but with those done for you services, I realized that I was talking to the wrong target audience. I was marketing my done for you services to the same people that were buying my low ticket products. That's not always a bad thing to do, but it really just depends on how you are framing your offers and who exactly you're targeting. Because with a lot of my low ticket offers, I was really targeting people who were just starting out in business. So a lot of them, they don't have high income or high revenue coming in from their business. And so I was targeting these people that had a lot of limiting beliefs. They had a lot of financial troubles. And so even though I really was not charging a lot of money for my high ticket, which I should have charged a lot more, if I charged a lot more than I did, it would have allowed me to really build a team that I needed to execute a lot of these projects that I was doing. But because my messaging was for people who were struggling or stressed or trying to make more money, not even trying, but they needed to make more money, living paycheck to paycheck, that was the type of customers, the majority of people that I got when it came to my higher price done for you services. And so doing that cost me a lot of time and a lot of money because I just didn't structure my offers correctly. And if I can go back and do it again, if I wanted to, I'm not really interested in doing any type of services, but if I wanted to do that, I would definitely make sure that I'm targeting an audience that can afford the prices I would need to charge in order to efficiently provide them with a good service. Talking to the wrong audience was a major mistake that I made in my business. And I just tell anyone, if you are someone who is trying to start a brand or a business, the first thing that you need to do before you come up with anything, any products, any services, any content, is to figure out exactly the type of person that you want to help. That is going to be key because that's going to dictate your pricing, is going to dictate what you offer them, is going to dictate your branding, your messaging, the type of content you post. It's so important. And so you don't want that to be everywhere. And this leads into the second reason that she gave, which is unsustainable pricing model. Man, having the wrong prices for my services is one of the main reasons why I discontinued it completely. And it's one of the reasons that led into me making this shift because over the last 2 years, I found myself doing services for pretty low prices, to be honest. If you are enjoying this type of content from Beyond Her Hustle, make sure you go to beyondherhustle.com and join our growing community. There you can find additional resources, exclusive trainings, workshops, and so much more within our community. So make sure you go to beyondherhustle.com for what needed to be done. And I wasn't able to hire the type of team that I needed to hire. And I end up doing a lot of work myself, right? So I had some people working for me, which they're amazing, but I did end up doing a lot. And that was very tiring and very draining because once I got stuck behind that computer having to fulfill services for clients, I'm no longer able to be creative and do the things that I love to do, like making content. That's the one thing that I love is being able to educate and make videos about different, financial literacy and business and entrepreneurship. But over the last 2 years, I really have not been able to do that consistently because I was stuck at a computer all day, every day, trying to fulfill these services for a little or nothing. And most of the projects that I took over the last 2 years, I actually lost money on. I lost money. So I was paying money in order to fulfill them because one thing that I just hate doing is going back on my word on something. And so I would rather take the loss than to take someone's money and not be able to deliver. And so that's what I did. And I tried out different pricing models and just In the long run, none of them worked out. In the beginning, it seemed great. And I think I was dealing with a little bit of imposter syndrome because I was so afraid to charge the prices that I really needed to charge to fulfill it. And so I just chose lower prices because it made me feel more confident if I can just close that deal at a lower price. But boy, did I pay for that. Did I pay for that in the long run? And I'm still recovering, honestly, from a lot of those mishaps because I did not price my services correctly. So unsustainable pricing models will make or break you. It'll break your entire business. It'll break your spirit. It'll break you. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm telling you, that's probably one of the main factors that played into my burnout. That's absolutely because it caused me to not be able to do the things that I love. And that was hard. That was very challenging for me. Now, the third one that she gave says, over promising, which usually leads to being over leveraged. And this just goes into the last point that I made, right? So I was undercharging in my business. I was charging nowhere near the amount that I needed to effectively and efficiently serve these clients to the top of my ability, right? So I was undercharging, but I was promising all these things. I was promising, we'll do this and this and this, and it'll be amazing, and these results will be amazing. And I did it with great intentions and with a pure heart because I truly thought that that was possible. Right, I really did because I had success. I had a few clients have success in it. And so I was like, okay, I can do this at a larger scale and I can do this at this price and it'll be fine. And I truly thought I could make it happen. But then I ended up over leveraging my team. I had my team members doing things that they're not accustomed to doing or even trained to do. I was stuck behind a computer doing things that, yes, I could do them, but it took up so much time. I wasn't able to do revenue generating tasks. I was stuck behind the computer fulfilling things for clients. So I was over leveraging my time. I was over leveraging my money because then I was in the red very quickly on a lot of the projects that I took on over the last 2 years, where I was having to pay my team, I was having to pay for softwares, pay for email marketing, and all these different things where the amount of money that I was paid for the service, it was gone. And I didn't even have anything to pay myself with. And I ended up having to pay money out my pocket in order to fulfill. So over promising, under delivering, and being over leveraged. That sums up perfectly what happened with a lot of these services I was trying to offer over the last 2 years. So the fourth point is depending solely on a social media content strategy for business growth. I recently made a post about this and had many people trying to argue with me. This is something that I know from experience. When you are depending only on social media, you can be at the top of the mountain one day and at the deepest valley the next day. When you only depend on social media and your entire business model depends on social media, that is a very dangerous position to put yourself in. And that's exactly what I did with my business. My business did not exist outside of social media, and that was a problem because in 2020 and 2021, when my engagement was high, I was getting millions of views, my sales were skyrocketing. But then 2022, 2023, when my engagement started to go down, my revenue started to go down because that was my only way to make money in my business was through posting social media content. Social media is too volatile. Like it's up and down. They can shut down your account. They can shadow ban your content. It is not sustainable. So I'm not telling you to not use social media. Social media is still a huge part of my business, but now I'm learning how to build a business model that does not depend on me getting on TikTok, doing TikTok dances 5 times a day in order for me to make money. That is extremely tiring. And another thing that led to my burnout is because I was having to pump out so much content just to try to keep up with the numbers and try to make sales. And it just doesn't work. And so being able to find other ways to build your business in the real world. So podcasts, right? Podcast platforms are an amazing way to market. Networking, going to events, sponsoring different events to get your name out there, joining different professional clubs or joining different mastermind groups so that you can start connecting with people and offering your products and your services and getting referrals and building relationships in the real world. That is one area that I know that I lacked for so long. And it's sad because you don't know what you don't know. And so I see so many other online entrepreneurs depending solely on social media as a strategy for their business. And I believe that is a part of the reason why you see so many entrepreneurs leaving the game right now, because they've noticed that there is a shift in the market. There's a shift in social media where the sell is a little bit harder to make. And so, because there are no other strategies outside of social media, they're just leaving and quitting their business altogether. And so, a big part of my journey right now with leaving hustle culture and building a real business is building outside of social media, being able to build a brand that outlasts Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok or YouTube, building something that can outlast that, that can reach beyond that. So if one day if my page gets shut down or if Instagram shuts down, I'm not missing money. If you are enjoying this type of content from Beyond Her Hustle, make sure you go to beyondherhustle.com and join our growing community. There you can find additional resources, exclusive trainings, workshops, and so much more within our community. So make sure you go to beyondherhustle.com. So one thing that I've learned is to just look at social media pretty much as a billboard to market. And that's it. It's not my entire business model. It's a piece of the puzzle, yes, but it's not my entire business model. This is something that if I knew back in 2018, man, if I knew this back in 2018, I'm telling you, I would probably have a multi-million dollar business right now, but you live and you learn. And that's why I've decided to really be so transparent with a lot of the mistakes that I've made over the last few years. Because if that can save just one person from making this same mistake, man, that's all that I need. That's all the motivation and the fuel that I need. Because when I tell you that depending on only on social media is so dangerous, you guys, it's so dangerous. You've seen cancel culture, right? How many influencers or celebrities have you seen say the wrong thing and now all of a sudden people are boycotting their business and reporting their business and leaving bad reviews and they've never even shopped there. I've seen it happen too many times. So, depending on social media for your brand, for your business, it's just not what you want to do. Make it one piece of the puzzle, but don't make it the entire pie. Just make it one piece and find other ways to diversify. The next one is number 5, which is not hiring support. Now, this is an interesting one because I did hire support, but I feel like I spent a lot of money hiring support in the wrong places. So I hired, my admins and, people to help me with certain tasks. But one thing that I should have done is hired people to replace the things that I'm doing. So if I'm making a sales funnel for a client or writing their email copy, I should have hired someone to do those things before I hired for anything else. I should have hired a video editor because I was pumping out so much content and editing my own content. That should have been really the first hire, should have probably been a video editor full time. And so being able to hire the right type of support, the type of support that's going to have more and more immediate ROI, right? So they're doing tasks that are revenue generating. They are doing tasks that can allow you to do what you do best and be creative. That's what I should have done instead of hiring, 3 or 4 admin assistants to do customer service and, all these other things, which is amazing because yes, customer service is so important, but there's so many other factors of my services that I should have hired for earlier. I think it would have helped with that burnout that happened with me, but at the same time, I also wasn't charging enough to even be able to afford to hire the type of people that I needed to hire to do those things. So it's just like a domino effect, literally a domino effect. Hiring support is huge and doing it the right way. That's the main thing. People always want to say to hire out or delegate the things that you don't like to do. That's not the right way to approach it. You should be hiring the things that you do like, the things that you are good at, the things that's taking up more of your time. That's where you need to hire so that you can work on expanding the business. Okay, so the 6 point she made says being the only service provider, which goes into again with hiring support. You being the main person doing those services, man, there are memes that I've seen online before saying that how you quit working 40 hours a week in order to work 80 hours a week for yourself. That's pretty much what happened when I became the only service provider in my own business. That was a mistake that I will never do again. And I would honestly rather never offer a service again than make those same mistakes with me being the only service provider. It just is not worth the time and money because I wasn't charging enough. So again, a domino effect. That's literally what happens. Number 7 is a good one. She says not investing in mentorship. That's a good one. And this is interesting for me because I've actually paid for coaches. I've paid for courses. I mean, I've spent thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with other people trying to gain insight from them, join their coaching program or services. And, it's interesting because the thousands and thousands of dollars that I've spent over the last 2 years or so with trying to get mentorship and coaching, I can honestly say there's not very many programs that I joined that I found very beneficial. The most beneficial information that I've gotten in my business has come from mentorship from people that I never had to pay a dime. And that's the crazy part about it. And like I said, I've spent thousands of dollars to get help. There was one program that I was in 2021 where I was spending $3,000 a month to be a part of that program. And there's another program, well, this was more of a service, but I paid them $10,000 in order to get help with my marketing. I'm telling you, there's no program that I can remember or recall that truly was impactful for me. It was always advice from people who I see as mentors. It's not like an official mentorship, but I see them as mentors, people that I've been able to go to and ask, those questions. And I've been working on developing relationships with them over the last several years, or even recently if we've just met. But the best advice that I've gotten is from those people. And so I believe investing in mentorship is good. It is. It's not. I don't have a knock to it. There's definitely some mentors that I have on my dream list of working with, and I know that I'll have to pay to get into those rooms, and I'm totally okay with that. But one thing I don't want people to underestimate is the power of networking and exchanging value, because for a lot of the people that I see kind of as distant mentors, a lot of them, they didn't charge me to ask them questions, but I did have some type of value to give them in exchange. It's a relationship that you're building. And that is one thing over the last year that I told myself I was going to focus on, was building those meaningful and mutually beneficial relationships. And so that's been the best mentorship and advice that I've gotten, or is really from those people. Okay, now I'm looking at number 8, and it's kind of ironic from my last point. So number 8 is only hiring business coaches who specialize in marketing or sales, and never hiring someone for other aspects of the business development. Now, maybe that's why I didn't get much out of the coaches and mentorships that I did pay for, because I believe a lot of them were more so marketing and sales. It was never really any other aspect of my business. So that probably explains why I don't feel like my money was really well spent in those instances. So that's kind of ironic there. But she's 100% correct. That's definitely a mistake I see a lot of people make. And I think the main reason for that is when you are looking at a coach who is helping you with your sales and marketing, the marketing that they're doing is really sexy, right? So they're saying, let me help you, 3x your monthly revenue in your business. Let me help you book more clients. Let me help you make more money. It's more sexy. But the coaches that are helping you with like your processes and your systems, like their marketing is not as sexy. So it's sometimes hard to see it as beneficial, even though those are the things that you really, really need. Those are the things that you need, man. So I would, if anything, the next time that I'm ready to really pay for coaching or pay for a mentor, I want to look for the boring coaches, the coaches that deal with the boring parts of business, the ugly parts of business. That's who I want to work with. I don't want to work with anyone else who has that sexy marketing and sales. Let me help you make more money. I'm done with that. I need someone that can help me get down to the nitty gritty of my business, build out a system, perfect my offers, create a business infrastructure, create SOPs, hire a team. Like I need people who are going to help me, get down and dirty. So the next time I'm ready, that's definitely what I'm going to be focusing on. And yeah, she's absolutely right with only hiring coaches who specialize in sales and marketing because you can only do so much with sales and marketing if your system's broken, right? It makes no sense to keep bringing people into a broken system. It's just going to break down and it's going to break down fast. Trust me. I know from experience. Number 9 is lack of collaboration. And I love this one because I love collaboration. And it's interesting because collaborating was one thing that I was very hesitant on doing for a very long time. So early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I was very open to working with people, collaborating. I wanted to be in rooms with people that I can learn from. I wanted to be able to just work with other like minded individuals. And I had some decent experiences, but I also had some pretty bad experiences. And honestly, that caused a lot of trauma for me, being burnt, having a business partner who, I was actually pregnant at the time and I was dealing with a lot of morning sickness. I had a high risk pregnancy, had to have a surgery during pregnancy. And I told them, hey, I have to take a pause on the partnership. And the way that they treated me after that was so hurtful. They didn't want to pay me out the money that is owed. They actually still owe me money. They only paid out a portion, but the way that they treated me after that was so traumatizing because this is somebody that I trusted. This is someone that I honestly looked up to, that, made it seem like they were very genuine in wanting to help me succeed. And so that was very hurtful. And that situation really made it hard for me to work with other people. There were other instances where, I worked with other women and, they were people again older than me. I really looked up to them and they turned out to just not be who I thought that they were. And that was just, again, traumatizing. And so when it came to working with people, for a long time, I was extremely hesitant. I didn't want to work with anyone. I said, no new friends. I got trust issues. I did not want to collaborate. I felt like people would only reach out to me because I have a large platform and they wanted to get something out of it, but there just wasn't really any value for me. And so for a long time, I didn't work with anyone. But then, over this last year, I realized that I have to heal that. I had to heal those traumas within me that happened in my business because that is potentially going to stop me from having amazing opportunities to work with other amazing individuals or amazing businesses because I'm so afraid of being hurt. And I can't hold someone who hasn't done anything to me. I can't hold them to what someone else did to me a few years ago. That is one thing that I had to learn about collaboration. The same way that when say someone hurts you in a romantic relationship, you can't take those pains into a new relationship. It's the same thing with business relationships. You cannot take the pain and the hurt from past business partners and bring that into a new business relationships. That business relationship is going to break down because those insecurities are going to show and they are going to be strong. I am telling you, it's going to be strong. So that's one thing that I had to learn is that You have to learn how to trust people and give them the benefit of the doubt. And if you have your paperwork straight in the beginning when you are doing collaborations and partnerships, then there's nothing to be emotional about because everything is lined out in the paperwork. So either you guys are going to abide by that or you don't. And if you don't, you know what to do after that, right? Either in the partnership, whatever legal action needs to come depending on what happens, but it's lined out in the paperwork. So that's one thing that definitely gives me a peace of mind now doing more collaborations after being burned so many times is as long as the paperwork is straight, we're good. Because now there's an expectation for both parties. So collaborating can absolutely elevate your brand and your business in so many ways when you collaborate with the right people. Now, I do have to add that because not every partnership or opportunity is a good one, but you want to make sure that it is a, mutually beneficial relationship and don't expect collaborations to happen overnight. There's some people that I've connected with a year ago that I'm just now, maybe thinking about finding a way to collaborate and work with them. It could be years, it could be weeks, it could be months, but just learning how to build those genuine relationships is something that has had a huge impact on just the way that I look at collaborations overall. And last but not least on the list is no systems or SOPs. Man, that's one thing. So I thought that I had a business system because I had some automation set up. That is not a business system, okay? A business system or an SOP, an SOP is a standard operation procedures. I did not have that in my business. Everybody, me and my team included, we were just winging it every single day. Like I said, just because you have an automation set up in your business, it does not mean you have a system. It doesn't mean that you have SOPs. You need to actually have a process of how things are getting done. That's one thing that I did not do with my services. And again, it's probably another reason why a lot of my services flopped because I did not have the proper procedures. I was just winging it. I was going based off of the information that I know. But then I realized, how can someone duplicate what I'm doing if there's no system or process to duplicate? It made training people a hassle. And so I ended up just doing things myself because I'm like, I might as well just do it because it's going to take me twice as long to hire somebody and train them to do it because I did not create a system in my business. And that was one of the downfalls for sure. That just created a lot of chaos. Man, my business was so chaotic on the inside. And again, it just led to so much burnout because I didn't have any structure and I did not have any peace within my business. So the money that I was making, it wasn't peaceful, it wasn't fulfilling because I was so stressed out all the time trying to fulfill these things. So, man, when I tell you that list just resonates with me in a way that I can't even explain, it does. It resonated with me deeply. And it's true. Well, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are leaving the game because it's not easy to be an entrepreneur, to work for yourself. It's one of the hardest things that I've done ever. And to keep going when times get hard as a business owner, that's one of the hardest things that you'll probably ever do. But I really hope that by me sharing a lot of the mistakes that I've made in my own business, it can help you if you are someone who is, looking to start a business, or if you already have a business. You might have a six-figure business already, but you might be in a very chaotic state like I was. And so I just hope that by me going through these mistakes that I've made, I can at least help you identify areas that you might need to work on so that you can stop hustling 24/7. Because that's the main thing with this entire brand, is to help you leave hustle culture. And now, when I say leave hustle culture, that doesn't mean to stop making money. That doesn't mean to not have a career, not have a business. It means to structure your life in a way where you can have it all. You can have the success in your business. You can have the success in your finances. You can have the success in your relationships. You can have the success in your spirituality. You can have the success in your health, in your body. You can have all of those things, but you have to create a life that is harmonious to the type of wealth that you want to create. And so being able to leave hustle culture means building a sustainable career or a sustainable business that allows you the time, the energy, and the resources to focus on all these other areas within your life. And so I just really hope that being able to hear the different mistakes that I made over these last couple years can help you identify the places in your own business that could use some work so that you can create a softer life. You can create a business structure, a real business, not just a side hustle. And so, man, I know that this is a much longer episode than a lot of the previous episodes that we did of Beyond Her Hustle, but I so appreciate you for, tuning into Beyond Her Hustle. This podcast is where we empower ambitious women to redefine the meaning of success. And so if you are listening to this right now, I would love if you would to leave us a review. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know anything that you want to hear. Please join the community. We are on all social media platforms, and our website is beyondherhustle.com. So I would love to see you there. Feedback is always appreciated. I love to talk with you guys and hear the different questions and topics that you want to hear about, and even some guests you want to hear. I'm going to start bringing on some guests on the show. And so I'd love to hear some people that you think might be able to really bring some value to this conversation. But again, I really appreciate you for tuning in for this episode of Beyond Her Hustle. I am your host, Sarah Nicole, and I'm going to catch you on the next episode.